Okay, so once you are done with your 3 thumbnail sketches, you are going to actually start drawing your can. Okay, so when we focus on this, we are going to be doing a contour line drawing only to begin. So you need to decide, looking at your can, how are you going to draw it? So I know this is going to be a little bit of a different view from what you guys see here, but this is how I was looking at it to draw my can. It's turned a little bit, okay? So you need to come up with the view and the perspective as you want to, okay? So a couple of things why we put the label on here, as you'll see that it looks a lot different on the can when it's curving around compared to, you know, how we draw it, how we see it. So you need to really make sure as things wrap around, you are capturing that, which is why it's really important to start your drawing with a contour line drawing. If you would like to, in your sketchbook, if you would like to just do, before you start on your final copy, if you would like to do some of those blind contour drawings, so I'm not looking at my paper right now, I'm not picking up my pencil. Okay, and then I have to come in here, get the label. So if you want to start with this, you totally can. Or we can do something that's called gesture drawing, which is just drawing really, really quickly to get the outline of things, just to kind of warm us up. But hopefully some of your sketches has helped you with that from that point. So draw what you see on your can, okay? I have a couple of different examples here that I have started, but by the time you're done drawing, so this one I actually want to be horizontal like this, so you can choose to put your paper this way or to put it up and down like this. Now this one I've started shading in a little bit. We'll talk about that more here in a second, but you want to make sure that you capture all of the details in it. And here's the kicker. Your drawing needs to be way bigger on your paper than it is in real life, okay? So make sure that you are filling the page. Some of these examples, remember, we're going to be creating emphasis with the background, the contrast of a colorful background and shading in here. So you might want to leave, you might want to put this in the center, okay? So these ones are all in the center. They do not have to be in the center though. This one's not completely in the center. This one is in the center, but I might choose to do something a little bit different with it, okay? So once you have the contour line drawing done, okay, and I'm kind of gonna just do a really, really quick one for you. I know you can't see where my can is positioned here, but this way you can just kind of see my approach to drawing it. So as I'm drawing it, I find it easiest to start with the top part of the can, because the top part of the can is going to be like a circle or an oval shape. And it's really important when we do this that we draw lightly with our pencil. In case we make a mistake, we can, you know, just draw over it or lightly erase. So I'm doing this really quickly here, and I'll come, you know, touch up these lines and shapes as I go. All right, so now the important thing is that we draw what we see. We've been talking about this entire time. I'm kind of looking at this at the side right now, so I shouldn't see the can totally from on top. So what do I mean by that? This is what I mean by that. Getting the right perspective. So let's say I have this can and I start with a really circle top, and then, you know, here's the part of my can. I draw the mouth and this part here. So the way that I've drawn this makes it look like I'm looking from it from overhead, but I'm really drawing it on the side. So notice that in this example, compared to this one, this is a much more circular form, where this one is an oval shape, okay? All right, so you might even find that you're like, oh, I might have to switch this shape up a little bit. Okay. So from my perspective here, I can't see the full opening of this part. I can only see a little bit of it. So I'm gonna draw that in. Here's my little pop tab, which is the oval shape. Okay, so once you have the basic structure down, it's important before you start adding all of the details in there that you have the basic shape of your can down. All right, so then from here, what you will do is you will start looking and observing your label. So this can is round, so that's why that T looks a little round as it's wrapping around. And one of the benefits that you have, because this is your own handwriting on the label, it should be easy for you to mimic that, okay? So once you have your contour line drawing done, and that's gonna take you a little bit, you will get to the shading portion of it. So when we do shading, let's see. So this one I have started this way. The first thing that we need to do is we need to pick where the light source is coming from. So I'm gonna have my light source coming from over here in this direction, which means everything's gonna go from light to dark. So then I'm gonna have a little bit of a shadow that's going this way, and I'll fill that in later, okay? So if everything's going dark to light, especially on this part with the can, I wanna make sure that I'm shading in the direction that we do of this form, which is a curved cylinder shape. So this is my dark area, so we're gonna refer back to your value scale. And so it's gonna be the darkest over here on this edge. And notice as I'm doing this, I'm keeping my pencil marks close together, but I'm also following this curved shaper line. All right, and now as I get closer to this side, it's going to lighten up a little bit, okay? One thing you can use every so often if you want to do a little bit of blending with your finger or a little bit of a tissue, you can do that. But this is where the lightest area is going to be. So let's see here. Okay, so that's just one part done. Now, you'll need to decide what you want to do to the label. Do you want to do it colorful like here? Is that going to be your point of emphasis? Or not, you'll have to look at, okay, how is the label different on here than it is in my actual design? So those are some things that we'll talk about and think about later, but as you start shading, okay, we got to make sure that we're using value in the dark to light to help make it look like it is more three-dimensional. And we'll get to how to do more of that in depth here later on, but this is what you can do to get started.